Hello, I'm George Brind, and I'm the maker of this film, Thunderbirds: The Final Showdown, which is a closure to the 1960s franchise of the same name, created by Gerry Anderson and his wife at the time, Sylvia. And I'm joined here by Jerry De La Rue, who provides some of the voices in this film.
I also provided some of the music that you hear in this movie. Hello.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that later. I myself am a kind of a fan of Thunderbirds. I wouldn't say I love it as much as other people do, but I would say that, yeah, from what they did a good job with all the effects and things, and Gerry Anderson's ambition to make it more live action. So, obviously, the film carries on from the events of not only the TV show, but of Thunderbirds Are Go and Thunderbirds 6. And our main villain here, the Hood, is basically sick of all of the things that International Rescue has done to basically defeat him or prevent him from knowing their secrets, basically. So that's what the basically the Hood is. He's the main character in this. This opening scene was written by my brother Thomas, who obviously provided a lot of writing work in some of my earlier projects.
Shiva, help me. Give me the power to destroy them.
Yeah, I don't think it's implied the Hood's religious, but that's what we tried to do here.
Good effort, I must admit. Oh, what was the name of that god statue he was looking at again? I can't remember.
Shiva the Destroyer.
Oh, thank you. I really need to brush up on religion, even though I'm not religious myself. It helps.
Yeah. So, obviously, with the Hood's religious traits, it's like he's asking for help, and indeed, at this very moment in time, he gets it from Captain Black, who is an agent of the evil alien Martian race, the Mysterons, who are the villains of another show made by Gerry Anderson entitled Captain Scarlet.
The Mysterons.
Yeah, the Mysterons. And we'll elaborate that as we get through the film. By the way, how the animation for this film is made is through Microsoft PowerPoint. It's not really a software used for making films or anything, but it is like a very useful software. You can do all sorts of things. You can make presentations with it. You can do all the text and things. If you look at my earlier projects, it's not as sophisticated as this, but yeah, that's a step up. And all the editing is done in a program called Adobe Premiere Pro. Probably one of the most easiest programs in the world to use, depending on the person.
If we can assist each other, we both could achieve our revenge.
What do you know of these pigs with their 6 incredible, just Thunderbird machines, and their endless attempts to kill me?
Both International Rescue and Spectrum help to ensure order and stability across this pitiful planet.
So anyway, the Hood at this scene is talking with Captain Black about the things that their goals are pretty much the same as ours. They want to destroy their arch enemies and things. And so Captain Black obviously steps in to help the Hood with his goal to destroy the organisation.
You know, I'm not very... Something about that lip movement. You said it was animated in PowerPoint, right?
No. I got the frames of it, and then it was all edited together in Premiere Pro. It was a very difficult job, what with trying to get all of the...
Oh, layered effects.
Yes. So, what is it about the lip movement that you don't quite...
Well, it could just be me, but seeing all those gaps in between the teeth, considering the footage is over 50 years old, it's quite a contrast to the visual quality in focus.
Yeah, well, I would admit that the lips obviously do seem more quality than the actual one themselves, but yeah, that's how I did it. So my brother thought the teeth were too small. Thunderbirds!
Ooh,
Yay!
easy, I'm jumpy.
Sorry. Thunderbirds, the Final Showdown. Filmed in
Incredianime point.
Incredianime point. That was the phrase that me and my brother tried to come up with because obviously with the glamorous term Super Marionation that Jerry and his wife Sylvia came up with, I thought, well, why not for the sake of Thunderbirds?
Ah, a flashback between the young Hood and Kirano.
Yeah, because Kirano, who is the Tracy brothers, Tracy family's servant, was obviously his half brother, and so my brother thought it'd be a good idea to show them as brothers who used to play. Goodness knows where those telekinetic powers came from.
I've got a sneaky suspicion that it could. There are two theories.
Oh yeah.
It's either he inherited it from one of his two parents, or he picked it up somewhere.
Yeah, that is the solution. Well done. So here are the main characters themselves. That's Scott, who I play. That's Alan, who I also play. And here are some of the hostages. Well, I wouldn't say hostages yet, like passenger victims of this. Yeah, poor Fireflash indeed, that's on fire. And you might be wondering, for those who haven't seen the films, what the heck are they doing with a tiger off to rescue them? Well, maybe if you saw the Thunderbird 6 film, you would understand, but, like, yeah, it is a little bit ridiculous. Even my brother thinks it's,
far-fetched.
yeah, and inferior in comparison to the rest of the others.
Well, sometimes the simplest options can be the most effective. That's probably...
Yeah. Anyway, we do make a joke about the inferiorness in a moment. One of the characters gloats on about that. In fact, it might be in a minute now.
When I give you the command, use those planes.
As you wish.
There are the rest of the hostages. I mean, passengers.
How many are there?
Uh,
Oh, including a few flight crew. Never noticed that one.
But I demand to be taken to one of your proper aircrafts. Being rescued by this infernal contraption is a disgrace.
Okay, the effect of how you animate the arms is a little, awkward.
yeah, I thought about doing it throughout the entire film, but it just didn't
There's
fit.
one of my characters.
Yeah, Andrew the hostage. By the way, the guy despising the tiger was played by my brother Thomas, who decided to step in and do a little bit bits and pieces. Well, I asked him and he agreed.
Looking back, I sound a little melancholy in a way of how I stated how I thought we weren't going to make it. Maybe I should have approached something a little bit more... Was that what you had in mind, or was it something else?
Well, just like frank opinions, basically. But no, I thought you did fine.
Oh, fair enough.
You might be wondering why they are in, of all places, Weymouth. When I put down that concept, my brother was like, why the hell of all places? Like the Weymouth Sea Life Tower, which I think is now known as the Jurassic Skyline. And, well, basically I thought, why not? And so that's what I did. I did a slight rewrite in that scene. Like, originally, like, the international rescue was going to leave the passengers behind to walk home by themselves, but I thought, well, that doesn't make sense. So, the idea that four of them going off in a huff because of the use of such an inferior craft as the Tiger, thought, well, yeah, that's the best solution.
Oh, and Fireflash was always one of my favourite non-international rescue craft in the series. To see it pivoting on the top of Weymouth Tower, it's just heartbreaking to see that it's continuing its streak of bad luck.
Yeah, well, there's plenty more where those came from at London Airport. As Jeff Tracy would say, that's a great aircraft. Anyway, the Hood and Captain Black are plotting their attack as, basically Virgil's taking the rest of the passengers back to the safety of the nearest town so they can come back.
Get into our planes and destroy the Tiger.
Not yet. Thunderbird 2 will at this moment be taking the passengers back to the safety of the nearest town. We'll do it as soon as it comes back to collect the tiger.
The destroying of the tiger moth scene, which I'm sorry for those who haven't seen the film, but I guess you would have seen it by now anyway. Me and Thomas were looking forward to this, and I was looking forward to it.
Scott from Alan. I feel a little uneasy. How so, Alan? Anything?
Yeah, we all did our best with trying to impersonate the characters. Out of all the characters I voiced, maybe I was a little bit weak on Alan. I did try to sound exactly like Matt Zimmerman, to be fair. But looking back on it now, yeah, it just sounds too much like me and too similar to Scott.
And I thought I sounded bad when trying to impersonate Virgil Tracy, not just as Jeremy Wilkin, but also a hybrid as David Holliday.
Yeah, because he was played by two actors. Like, the first left because he returned to America, and then Jeremy Wilkin, who Doctor Who fans might remember him for playing Calman in the Doctor Who story Revenge of the Cybermen.
I really should watch the earlier Doctor Who years.
Yeah. Anyway, here's the start of the tiger moth attack.
The plot thickens.
Yeah.
Get out of here quickly. I'll get airborne and Virgil and I will give you assistance.
FAB?
Bit of stock footage from Thunderbirds 6 there. Slight difference in the paintwork, I have to say.
It's probably the full-scale plane.
Yeah, flown by Joan Hughes back in the original film.
Oh, you know, I would never have noticed. I may be good on detail, but not every time.
No, not every time.
But don't attack him yourself, unless I say...
A fire extinguisher. I never really stopped to notice that.
Wow.
Well, given that Thunderbird 2 has a bit of previous for catching fire, thanks to...
Yeah, in New York City. This is where Scott realises who are the pilots of this plane. The Mysterons are invisible, so the only way to know they're there is these two circular lights.
Invisible? I never really saw them as invisible. More like controlling machinery from afar, utilising those two rings.
Thomas Puttock had the sense that they were possibly invisible. Thomas is the person who plays the Hood as well as Captain Scarlet, but we'll get to that.
Oh, that was dangerously close to the pilot.
Alan, listen to me.
Yeah, Thomas Brind thought at first like Alan was going to be destroyed from that, but evidently he wasn't.
There he goes.
The overused parachute effect now.
3, 2, 1. Where's the kaboom? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you would have think, how does that tree stay up?
Let's just say it was forgotten for simplicity.
Yeah.
But the tiger has been destroyed.
Well, there goes one of Jerry Anderson's biggest mistakes.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but rather an experiment that just wasn't meant to be. Here's an interesting scene with the hostages.
Explosions.
Like the Thunderbird machines were flying around with army planes. It was like they were attacking each other.
Don't be stupid.
Just to clarify, which character did you borrow the head from
I think he's a head from Path of Destruction. Like, he's one of the crew, basically. Not the one who suffers from food poisoning in that episode. But...
Oh, one that doesn't.
Yeah.
I beg your...
That's me.
What, the Dickens?
Me.
Me and International Rescue.
And Mr. Puttock.
Yeah, Puddock.
You so happen to be part of my plan to get rid of them once and for all.
I still don't understand what you're saying.
What do you mean, Archena?
Eyes he always used to hypnotise people with.
The Hood was the original Dark Lord of the Sith.
The original Dark Lord of the Sith.
You must be careful with my powers. Using them will make me even weaker than I am now. Now to wait for Captain Black with the next few hostages. The public will not know what happened to those poor people. They'll only know that International Rescue were here at the time they disappeared.
That was one of the music bits that Jerry offered, I think.
That was one of my favourite cliffhanger tunes.
Yeah, it does have a ring to it. Barry Gray was a brilliant composer. God rest his soul, and he's kind of like John Williams in a way. Whatever mood the production team of whatever film they were working on they wanted, he got it right away. The mood, the angles, the emotion, whatever they wanted, he just got it.
Tragic loss to the music industry.
So what could have happened then, Mr. Tracy?
That's me as Tintin Carano. I did try my best as well to impersonate Christine Thin, and at first I thought I did good, but looking back on it, it sounds more like my generic female impersonations.
Ooh, never mind your voice. Look at her top. It's sickeningly vibrant.
Really? My mum thought it was pretty. It's gorgeous. The pattern is gorgeous.
No, I mean the shade of pink. It's too vibrant. I don't mind the pattern. That's fine. It's just the colours are... it's a given. Jeff's is much more subtle.
Yeah, well, he's, yeah.
I can hear the Thunderbirds returning now.
I guess I could have been more quick with the launch sequences, but...
It wouldn't be Thunderbirds without them.
No.
And anyway, this isn't launching, this is landing.
Yeah, well...
But your point is still standing. Funny thing, using reversed footage. You've got to make sure you know what you're doing, otherwise it just looks jarring. But lucky for you, and probably lucky for the editor, whoever was in charge of editing Thunderbirds, that if any reverse footage was required, they were very careful to make sure that things such as smoke weren't visible.
Who? The editors in the original show? I remember one of them being called Len Walter. David Lane, who directed 6 of the series as well as the 2 films, I did think occasionally help out, but Len Walter was the main editor. Yeah. Guess it's not easy also trying to change the aspect ratio. The aspect ratio here I've got is based on in the 2 movies. They wanted CinemaScope, and I thought, well, if this is going to be like the 3rd film in the franchise, why not? So that's what I did. As well as using stock footage from the films, I also used stock footage from the series, basically with the aspect ratio changed.
So it's called CinemaScope. I always wondered what that official term was.
I think the official term they used was Techniscope. You basically filmed using the letterbox glamorous image you wanted, but you used conventional spherical lenses to film it, because at that time, in the 60s, Panavision just couldn't handle the special effects that Derek Mennings used. Yeah, brilliant man he was. He did the special effects for Superman the movie, for Bond, for...
I think also for Tim Burton's Batman, if I recall.
Yeah, because... Yeah.
Hi, boys.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. What a terrible rescue operation this turned out to be.
Steady, Alan.
I won't be steady. Do you realise how big a risk it was? Trying to rescue all those victims from a fire-blazing fire flash? 5 at a time, using a pathetically unsuitable biplane.
Well, Alan, the important thing is that they were rescued.
I know, they would have perished in the flames if it weren't for us. But using a useless plane to rescue them, we all could have perished. I know it's our only craft that can go on the top of it.
So at this moment, Alan is obviously infuriated by the fact, because the Tiger Moth used to belong to him. He was just using it as a reckless way to get from Tracy Island to England before the Skyship One voyage. And to see this inferior craft used as a rescue craft is obviously not only angering to him, but the fact that it has been destroyed has made him upset. Those are all the designs that Brains tried to go through until Jeff scrapped them.
You know, I did wonder if that plot was ever properly resolved between Jeff and Brains, because it does seem like,
I mean, what was going on in your head, Dad?
poor Hackenbacker.
Her death may have
That's not his real name, is it? He only used it as an alias.
Well, nobody knows for sure, except Jerry and Sylvia themselves.
God rest their souls.
Too true. But I'm glad you touched upon it, because Jeff needed to know that Brains had been suffering built-up stress and anger.
Yeah, for all those wasted designs.
Well,
Yeah.
some of them look rather good as well.
Yeah.
Go!
That's my mum as the female hostage.
Well done, Captain Black. Send them over here.
Why is it that some hairstyles from the 60s look better than today's?
I don't know.
Yes. 6 people taken away from International Rescue's recent rescue operation. Now, all we need to do is wait for International Rescue to be blamed.
Indeed you do. You're making good progress with your plan.
Yeah, but you've got to fulfill your end of the bargain as well, Hood.
Hey, Alan. It's only us. Mr. Tracy sent us.
How are you feeling, Alan?
Hi, Brains.
I was responsible for trying to do the stuttering. Brains was a stutterer. The idea that this genius whose thoughts would go on like, I don't know, 1 million miles an hour or something, and so to have the stuttering obviously is a faithful aspect. I have to say you captured the Brains aspect really well. I'm pleased.
Of all the characters I voiced, I think I nailed it with him the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
After all, mimicking the voices of characters from over 50 years ago, it can be quite complicated.
Well, you're not wrong there.
Solved.
Gee, thanks, Brains.
It's funny, during some of our sessions together, we did toy with who did a slightly better Brains voice. We're good in our own way.
Yeah, we're good in our own ways. I think I won for Parker, who we'll get to later. Anyway, this is the moment where Jeff realises that they're being framed. Never mind the super teleport, that one's more important.
But it's little pieces of hidden things like that that make watching it worthwhile.
Oh, and by the way, my father does the real hand movements back there.
Well, that tube tunnel from Britain to America, I hope it does get built one of these days.
Yeah.
You know, history has already predicted the future, has already failed us with Back to the Future. They better not mess up with Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, there are a lot of things in Thunderbirds that are behind the times, but...
Well, they seem ahead to me.
Yeah, well, most of them do. I mean, obviously, smoking wasn't, and the old-style cars weren't, but... Yeah, looking at this, when watching it, I don't think it feels like it was made in the 60s at all.
No, that's a good point.
We know that you can hear us, Earthmen. We are currently sided with a man called the Hood, enemy of the International Rescue Organization.
So yeah, Captain Scarlet, how he comes into the plot. It was an idea suggested by Thomas Puttock when I planned the making anything to do with Thunderbirds back in 2011. He noticed that in the first Thunderbirds film, Thunderbirds I Go, that the Zero X spacecraft in that film is also used in the first ever Captain Scarlet episode, and he thought, well, why not do a crossover? Which I did consider, and obviously I incorporated into this film. And now, at this moment, Spectrum are trying to surmise why Spectrum is going not Spectrum, the Mysterons are going after an enemy that's not theirs.
Yes. Very suspicious.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm not that good with improvising on the spot. I try.
Yeah.
Calling International
know, vinyls are recently coming back into fashion, so in a way, maybe one day,
International rescue.
tape recorders could as well.
Yeah.
There's just something about analog you can't leave behind, for those of you who are around to see it.
Maybe not. Yeah.
You've been blamed for destroying the pathetic Tiger Moth biplane and for kidnapping 6 hostages from your recent rescue. At least, that's what the world's guessing right now, after their disappearances. Well, I'm here to tell you that you've only got one choice. One choice only. Reveal your true identity to the entire world. If you don't, I and the Mr. Ones will find and destroy.
That looks to me like a Series 1 John Tracy head.
No, it was Series 2.
Oh.
Yeah, for the heads, as much as I would have loved to get the heads from the feature films, I somehow decided probably the Series 2 ones were more appropriate. I did try my best. Alan, I failed. Scott, I succeeded. Jeff, I succeeded.
Virgil, I think you succeeded too.
Yeah, but John, it was hard to find a suitable one. And the one that I got was basically from a projection image in Path of Destruction when he tells them about the situation.
And the Hood didn't have one at all from Series 2, and the best and the closest one available was, that brief scene in the speedboat in Thunderbirds Are Go, and that wasn't exactly the best to utilise, was it?
Yeah, he seemed to have much shorter eyebrows as the Black Phantom. Although then again, it could have been a mask, because, we'll explain what happened later.
Yes, the Hood is definitely a supposed master of disguise, yet most of his faces seem to be more or less the same, if you get the drift. The same fake mustache,
Yeah, the same fake eyebrows, the hairpiece and the whatever.
A toupee.
The only real closest one we got to with a completely different disguise was Dr. Grant. He impersonated Dr. Grant in order to...
Now that was his best one.
Yeah.
I may just have to take everything as it comes. Now, this... Go ahead, John.
Father, I've just discovered that Thunderbird 5's electronic clock to avoid detection from ground-based radar or other spacecraft sensor systems has been hacked into.
Which means the chances of Thunderbird 5 getting destroyed are now high. I didn't fully explain how it was hacked in, but obviously that's just saying the Mysterons do have the power to hack in something.
After that bad news, Scott,
It has been shown.
launch Thunderbird 1 and proceed to Lady Penelope's.
There we go.
Yes, sir. Come on, Kirano.
Yeah, people might be wondering if Thunderbird 1 is allowed to take 2 people. Yes, it is. Scott took Brains in Thunderbirds Are Go at one point.
Yeah, not only that, he also took those 2 young boys from Australia, Tony and Bob. They were passengers in Thunderbird 1 as well.
Yeah, but obviously they were kids that were cooped up near the seat. Brains was clearly in this other component thing, which if the thing slid down, you could see Brains right at the back.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about that section.
Well,
suffice to say, Thunderbird 1 can man at least 4 people. Goodness knows how many more. Maybe 1 or 2 more, but that's about it.
I know. Right, this is it, boys. Thunderbirds Are Go.
this is the moment that, we're all familiar with the launch sequence. So much so I didn't bother to write down detailed descriptions in the script. We all know how it goes. Thunderbird 1 gets ready for launch, Thunderbird 2 gets ready for launch. Anything they need for the rescue, they'll take it. Well, not in this case, but yeah. Still, at least it's good to see these. The unique thing about Thunderbird 2 is the fact that it houses 6 pods in its hangar, which would contain a certain amount of rescue equipment that they need for a certain mission, particularly Thunderbird 4 and the Mole and the Firefly and all the others. And you're probably thinking, how are they going to manage to do it in the amount of time they have? It could be, I don't know, very soon before the destruction of their base and whatever.
There was another problem you overlooked when I saw the completed script when I was about to record.
Yeah.
The problem was, how would Thunderbird 2 wheel itself back into the hangar without wheels?
Yeah, well, they do make a comment about it later in the film. Scott thanks Brains for something like he did in Lord Parker's Holiday with that.
Well, I'll tell you what that new device was. The pods move out of the hangar themselves, and Thunderbird 2 lands directly on them. It's a bit like, Leapfrog gone wrong, if you will.
Yeah, I kind of thought maybe like it had obviously a new setting that would enable to roll it back without the pods, but yeah, because the pods are the only things that have wheels. I did actually look at a book by Carlton explaining the details of Tracy Island, that the corridor that housed some of the rescue equipment was a short distance away from them. Either they took the pods that were most important to them and the rest they left, or like Virgil just so managed to have all the energy and willpower to get absolutely everything. Everything out.
Self-propelling, self-moving pods. That would explain it, yes. You know, my first idea for that was having one of the stronger pod vehicles either tow or push the pods out of the hangar.
Yeah, but obviously time was running out in the production. I started this...
Yeah, you didn't animate it, simple as that.
Yeah, I started this whole film production way back. I think it was in, like, May 2016, and I only just finished the entire film in October 2017, a month before the film's release. So yeah, they're going to Penelope's to hide out, because the idea is there are some obscure places near this mansion, which looks a little like Stourhead House in Wiltshire. I've been there.
Also sort of resembles a few museums, at least the main entrance.
Yeah.
We've got to prepare some obscure places for all the machines and equipment.
Right, m'lady.
That's me as the voice of Parker. I have to say, I'm really proud of my voice of Parker. I captured all the mannerisms.
And so you should be, my lord.
Thank you, your butler.
Yeah, I just had to have my little moment as Parker.
Yeah, I think we did have a brief friendly rivalry over it, but this was my project. I thought of myself, well, obviously Parker's my favourite character, probably in the entire series.
Who doesn't love a lovable rogue?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it is your project. You had every entitlement to be Parker.
Yeah, and I know he's people would consider him probably like a Cockney stereotype, but he's still likeable. He's got this charm. He's endearing. He was a former criminal and cat burglar. He even
safe cracking was his speciality.
Yeah. So as Virgil's doing his job, Jeff is leaving the base to set up a press conference, which, unwise I know, but it's his hopeful move to prove that International Rescue is innocent of all the hostage kidnapping and whatever.
Good.
Brains' brown sachet.
First appeared in Thunderbirds 6. I took a Virgil Tracy copy of the costume, and then I used
I see what you did. You dyed the yellow brown, or at least tried to recolour it. Yeah, Jeff had a gold sachet too, at least in promotional material, but he never really used it at all in the series.
Any moment.
I'll prepare the hatch for them now.
Thanks, Brains.
Now, here is one of the questionable elements about this film, which, as far as I remember rightly, my brother Thomas did suggest. I've been trying to ask him why he suggested this, but I can't fully remember on the whole matter. And that was the romance between Scott and Lady Penelope. Now, it's not fully evident in either the series or the films that they must be having some kind of relationship. Well, I guess you could get away with Scott saying, may I book the first dance, like he did in Thunderbirds 6 as a flirt.
Ballroom? May I book the first dance?
Yeah, and his enthusiasm to go to the Swinging Star in the first film. Well, Parker was almost certainly embarrassed by what they did just then.
Oh dear.
You would think I should have focused more on the romance between Alan and Tintin, but I think we decided it had already gone through obvious development in the show or franchise, so I didn't bother.
God, I sound dreadful as Virgil.
Don't beat yourself up.
No, right, I shouldn't. But he wasn't the easiest character to voice.
Successfully managed to hack into Thunderbird 5's electronic cloak. However, those pigs have not replied since I sent that message. We don't know what they're doing right now. But even if they're still there, I suggest you go and destroy the base as well. We warned them what would happen if they did nothing.
I brought this up earlier before we started recording this commentary. While Captain Black and the Mysterons fulfilled their end of the bargain to help the Hood in bringing down international rescue, it didn't really... In being a crossover, you'd think that the Hood would at least try to help Captain Black bring down Spectrum.
Yeah.
I guess you just didn't
consider. Yeah, well, I guess he was concentrating too much on trying to deal with his own foes fast. Because he did get sick of them, I believe.
Yeah.
Went from this guy who simply wanted to be rich by knowing their secrets to this such a maniac.
A very large ball of extreme bitterness. Spiteful.
Yeah, and I think I did try to imply that what he did in Thunderbirds 6 was part of this plan right from the start. Like, by Thunderbirds I Go, where fans for some reason think he died for good. Absolute rubbish. What he did in Thunderbirds 6 was part of that plan. And there is a very special reason in the film as to why he does this. This injury in Thunderbirds I Go caused more damage than meets the eye. It was basically they were attacking a helicopter and it exploded in the water. So...
military missiles.
I think I did plan for them to destroy the base and recreate it, but
too ambitious.
Yeah, and he just destroyed certain things and certain crew members and did it so inconspicuously somehow. Yeah, let's not get complicated about it. Anyway, Captain Black is about to fire the missiles which will take down International Rescue in some way.
Captain Black killed crew and stole the missile launches.
This was one of the most difficult things to do because I set the flames to be together, but it went all higgledy-piggledy in the editing process, and so I literally had to get the dimensions all up together and so on and so forth. It was really hard, as a lot of work on this film was.
It's a pity Jerry wasn't particularly keen on Thunderbird 3 since we saw so little of it.
Yeah, he says in the Thunderbird's Companion. Well, I mean, he has got a point. It didn't do much. It just did some of the occasional rescue operations and things.
And the same was said for John Tracy. You know,
yeah, who, by the way, his social life may as well be much improved after this.
You know, he could have had a very important leading role in Operation Crash Dive had they not decided to switch his role with Alan.
He was fine in Danger at Ocean Deep.
That was probably his only major highlight outside of being stuck in Thunderbird 5.
Yeah, so Virgil's meant to have got everything by this point. Everything is all the equipment and everything. Don't ask why, don't ask how, he just has. And
Make up your own reasons.
Yeah, make up your own reasons, fans. In the nick of time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kaboom! I can't believe I actually got the timing right this time.
Yeah, I can't believe I got it right either. Well, there goes one thing that obviously launched a lot of toys. I had a Tracy Island playset until one of the palm trees snapped.
I think nearly all of mine snapped. It was the Matchbox Thunderbirds. The one before your, the...
Soundtrack?
Yes.
Blue Peter did one as well.
Yes,
Look it up, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the hotel where Jeff is going to hold.
Hampton Inn and Suite.
Oh, it's just a random thing. He's going to hold his conference.
Destroyed one of their aircraft and kidnapped 6 UK hostages. We don't know exactly what happened.
Some of the faces are actually from Team America. Those under 15, don't check it out.
Good point. I've not seen it myself, and I'm not sure I want to.
You know, I haven't seen it myself, but I'm considering. Even though my brother is saying I won't get some of the humor.
That reporter at the back left looks too similar to Warren Grafton, the cheapskate con man.
What do you want? Warren Grafton from Brink of Disaster?
That's him. There he is, very far left.
Yeah.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is with pride that I officially announce that I have been paroled from prison and have decided to ditch the idea of the Pacific Atlantic Monorail Company.
I'd love that. That would be like a comedic solution. Well done.
A sixth Thunderbird. Well, maybe. But that's
Journalism is more fun anyway.
I suppose it is, depending on the person. So, Jeff is trying to tell the truth, but one of the reporters is like, how the hell do you know about it? Here's the big moment. Thomas Brind built himself up to this, because this was one of the plot elements he suggested to me. He suggested the idea of them being invalids and whatever.
I'm a part of International Rescue. The man in charge.
Did you just say
that? What the blazes? He? The man in charge? Everyone, please. I'm sorry, Mr. Tracy, but it seems that you are a vigilante and possibly part of a criminal organisation. I must ask you to accompany me to the station. Anything you say?
I think I made a mistake in the end credits. This guy was credited as Thomas Brind. That's not the case. It's me. Must have been an error before the film was released.
I've got the last pod and the last lot of equipment, including Thunderbird 4.
That was Thunderbird 4 inside the pod.
Thunderbird 4 was used sparingly as well, but we did see it more than Thunderbird 3.
I know.
It got destroyed just after I left.
Yeah, well, it was to be expected. Anyway, you're clear to land.
F.A.B., Scott.
Well, Brains, I gotta hand it to you. That new device you fitted into Thunderbird 2 last week to enable the craft to roll back into its hangar without any of the parts attached was just great.
Thanks.
You know, a simple explanation as that, I can get it all out of the way without having to go like blah 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 blah. Yeah, they did have a lot of exposition in the original Thunderbirds.
Well, I'm just gonna say that my own perspective, the pods were modified to have self-propelling.
Yeah.
About the sachets, you know how that Scott's is a lot pale blue, Virgil's is yellow, Alan's is white, Gordon's orangey.
Yeah, orange.
And John's lilac.
Yeah.
You know, I never really understood why they chose those particular colours.
Yeah, you would think they should be
matching the colour of their craft, like in the Revival series, which, by the way, is inferior in certain ways that I will not bring up.
I've not seen that. I've seen a few clips of it, but not the series. In fact, I steered myself away from it the day I started making this.
Quite right.
Captain Blue to International Rescue England.
Ah, Captain Blue. You know, I've recently been watching his voice actor, Ed Bishop, in UFO.
That was Jerry Anderson's first live-action television show.
It was?
Yeah, after he did the Secret Service that starred the nonsensical Stanley Unwin. Look it up.
I know it.
What can we do for you? I'm here with Captain Scarlet, and we're on our way to you.
That's right.
My, Captain Scarlet's got a bit of a death glare here.
A what?
A death glare.
Why? Because they killed him in the first episode and he was a Mr. Unlikeness?
No, it's just the screenshot you took of his face.
Yeah, that was from the very end of the trap. Yeah, we couldn't resist singing to this.
Brains, is the stand for Thunderbird 3 ready?
Yes, Scott. The stand for Thunderbird.
Jagged teeth. No, not jagged, just slightly misaligned.
Yeah, my brother thought the teeth looked too small.
You know, I think you probably would have gotten away with perfect, well, just 2 white bars. Prison.
One in Georgia, to be precise. I forgot the name of the official one, but that's where it is. Took me a long time to get that night sky worked in because it was a daytime shot.
One of my favourite moments that I do. I think I make the guard sound a bit enjoy your stay, Mr. Tracy. Sound a bit monotone-ish in a way, but with a slight hint of snarkiness.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm glad you chose an outfit with arrows.
Yeah.
Do wonder how the boys are getting on.
Mozart. Mozart, fair go.
No, that was the Eine kleine Nachte I was doing. But, hang on. Nachte...
A little night music it was.
That's me as Lil the Cook.
Who appeared in the Vault of Death. She was well known for serving Parker dinner that he wasn't especially keen on. I remember the only dinner he liked was stew, which he claimed to be
the favourite. You know, I really should have... I reckon I could have improved a little bit on Lil's dialogue. You know, like, it was nothing, Captain Scott.
Yeah. You said it sounded a little bit more like that Marjorie Blake from...
Little Britain.
Yeah, that's the one.
I was just gonna say... I probably should have said, I reckon I've never worked so hard to make sure everyone is satisfied with their meals. Yeah, I just reckon I should have said that.
Yeah, that probably does sound more like a suiting. Yeah, obviously my writing skills are...
Hey, they're not bad. They just need a little subtle refinements here and there.
Yeah, especially the exposition. Bodger and Badger the movie, my God, it just dwells on for too long, the exposition. So this was a step up. Not just for me, but for Thunderbirds, because sometimes they do dwell on. There are episodes that do good, but other ones just really drag.
What's that on Parker's plate?
Oh, just a little bit of...
Lettuce, spinach,
yeah.
parsley.
By the way, the woman who plays Lady Penelope in this is my schoolteacher, who was at my, I wouldn't say it, at school when I was young, one of my one-to-one supporters. Catherine Gell is her name. She did try her best with the clips I provided of her from Thunderbirds 6, but...
Should have gone with, Actually, I wasn't particularly keen on Lady Penelope's voice in Thunderbirds 6. It sounded a bit off.
Yeah, but people's voices do change when they grow up. I know Paul McGann sounds a little bit significantly different.
I didn't notice.
That was literally... That could have been like... If this was a TV episode, it would have been the end of part 1. That was a great cliffhanger.
Yes. I must admit.
Yeah. So they received the report about Jeff in custody.
Oh.
Commander Casey from Thunderbirds a Go.
R.I.P.
Yeah, said to have been suffering whilst he did his stuff.
Maybe. But what about the Hood or any of the Mistrons, eh? They won't be standing by and doing nothing after the arrest.
Scott's top. Didn't he have a blue version as well?
This outfit is based on in Thunderbirds Are Go, I think. He wore that in Thunderbirds Are Go.
And he wore one in blue in the Kickstarter episodes. I think the Abominable Snowman episode.
Which, by the way, is not commercially available. If you're one of those people who was lucky to have bought those episodes during the Thunderbirds 2065 campaign, then obviously you would have known about them. But
someone will upload them to the web eventually. Just you wait and see.
Well, I don't know.
Well, anything's possible.
Yeah, there are some clips of it on their official YouTube channel, so you might want to see it.
Speaking of Scott's style of top, Lady Penelope had one as well in the Duchess assignment in red. During the
yeah, that's right, she did. But I think it was more of a coat than a shirt. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it was a coat.
Yeah, I think even though, as I said before, I've not seen the new series of Thunderbirds, Great Aunt Sylvia wears one.
So she does.
Yeah.
You know, even though Sylvia's voice had aged, it still sounded more like in Series 1 of Thunderbirds, in Series 2 of Absolutely Fabulous, when she guest starred.
Did she really?
Yeah. The episode was called Hospital. It was in 94.
Right. So, yeah, Fab 1 apparently can fly. In the original series, it wasn't able to, but some of you may know that in Thunderbird 6, it was destroyed whilst aboard Skyship 1, which in turn got destroyed. Brains is meant to have rebuilt the car by this point.
It's the Irish farmer.
I couldn't resist. Anyway, yeah, Fab 1 is meant to be reconstructed. It has more powers than the original. It can fly like it does in the inferior 2004 film, which, by the way, cemented my interest in Thunderbirds.
It did? Huh.
Yeah.
Well, here we are again, the Horde.
Now.
Do you think you can get out of it like that?
Why are you doing this?
Those thick eyebrows.
Yeah.
Because you and your boys have spoiled my plans and have tried to kill me.
That's only if there's no other option, and if you try to kill us first.
Don't try and be clever with me, Jeff. You tried to kill me too many times already. That's always been your attitude.
Now look here.
I tried to take...
Yeah, he goes through... he goes through the examples of when he was defeated.
Yes. Thunderbird's official timeline and chronology was never properly specified.
No, there is a debate as to whether it's set in the 2020s or the 2060s. Obviously, they might have referred to it in early merchandise, if I remember rightly. I'm going to say it's the 2060s.
No, not the year it was based on. That's not what I was getting at. I meant the order the episodes take place in.
Yeah.
You know, I always... From how the dialogue at the end of Martian Invasion
goes, the one where he films them filming the operation.
Yeah, that one sounds like it takes place closest to the end of Series 1, if you get the drift. It's mainly because of two factors. One, that Scott Tracy demonstrates Thunderbird 1's capabilities of using electromagnetic wiping for video footage in Terror in New York City. And I consider Martian Invasion to be taking place after that for a second reason. One, because of the non-magnetic film scenario, and second, because of Scott's final line. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll get him one day. Yeah, that's what he says.
Not a pretty sight, is it? All thanks to you and your boys during the second Zero X's.
So the Hood has revealed the real reason why he's done this, because, yeah, as we were talking about earlier, that was what happened in Thunderbirds.
I'll cancel for this.
And as a result, that's what happened to his face. So he wore a mask in Thunderbird 6. which had less thick eyebrows and a wig.
You know, I was expecting more like scars than blotches of blood.
Yeah, well, I did try my best to think of something.
It's alright, you did your best. I'm not going to complain any more about that.
Yeah, so the Hood at this point is now going to plan to leave Jeff, Tracy, and everyone in the prison to die. Evil or not, it's going to kill a lot of lives. Well, evil or not in terms of the inmates.
I guess the Hood didn't care who he killed as long as he got who he wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be stupid. The truth I've given you is clear as crystal.
This is where I don't think I sound that much like Peter Dinelly at this point.
You say Dinelly, I say Dinelly.
I think Shane Rimmer referred to him as Dinelly.
Turn off the bloody bomb!
I'm not even sure if an American says, well, that curse word, which I won't dwell on.
Ask you one more time! Turn off the bomb!
The countdown music was another piece I arranged as well.
Yeah, and I extended it.
Right, you asked for it!
So, Jeff has been left behind in the prison. They're going at top speed. They obviously don't know what is going to happen. And, well...
Now, I say that Parker, Penelope and I will go in and rescue Jeff, and the rest of you land somewhere else and meet me when we've got it. SIG Scud, or should I say, FAB.
I kind of base this on the reaction to Han Solo when he gets impaled in The Force Awakens. But yeah, it probably did dwell on for a long time.
I think the only real mistake of doing that was focusing on
Every single person shouting out their yells.
Yeah, it would have worked a little better if you did them all sort of more...
At the same time?
In unison would have felt a little more natural.
Yeah, possibly. You're right. I mean, probably not so bad as in the car because there are 3 people reacting and...
I mean, it's not bad here, but the...
Yeah, but in the Spectrum passenger jet,
scene.
yeah. In the Spectrum passenger jet.
No, not that scene. I meant, later in the Hood.
Yeah. Well...
We're going after them.
Okay, Scud. Coming up right behind
you. Should the angels help us?
I'll contact Cloud Base.
Okay, Captain Scarlet. The angels will be with you shortly. Lieutenant Green? Yes, sir. Launch all angels.
So, Spectrum have asked the angels to help. In the script, I think I scripted all of them, but looking at the footage again, it appears to be 3 angel planes that go at a time on their assignments, don't they?
Yes.
And
they've only got 3 fighters, but they have different...
5 angels.
5? Was it really 5?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I lost track.
Yeah.
Destiny was usually among them.
Yeah, and so was...
Hang on, wasn't there a circumstance when Destiny was piloting, but she was not lead angel?
I can't remember what episode it was. I tried to track down the stock footage down because I thought people would be disappointed if Destiny wasn't part of them, because she was one of the most significant out of all the Captain Scarlet angels.
I know.
Who spoke with this French accent.
Actually, speaking of Destiny Angel, she didn't have that much role to play outside in the original Captain Scarlet, did she?
Other than Seek and Destroy?
That was the episode I think I was thinking of. I can't remember all their individual names. I haven't seen the series in a while.
Yeah.
But she did have a bigger role in Jerry's CG Captain Scarlet in the early 2000s.
Yeah, well, that I haven't seen either.
Oh. At least it was Jerry at the helm.
Yeah. Hadn't he have died of Alzheimer's, I guess he probably would have done Control on Thunderbirds as well.
It probably would have included more mature elements like it should have.
Yeah, it's rated 12A. So, yeah, kids, don't watch the new Captain Scarlet until you're, I don't know, under 12 years old.
At the same time, it's being drawn off course.
Well, keep following him anyway. He mustn't get away.
That is pretty much what I was thinking, Colonel. You better inform the Angels. Make them aware of what's happening.
SRG, Captain. It shall be done. Lieutenant Green,
Yes, sir.
do the honours, would you?
Attention all Angels. Be wary of the Hood's plane flying a bit oddly, but keep pursuing him. He mustn't get away.
Right, Lieutenant.
So, yeah, at this point, the Hood's plane has mysteriously drawn off course. It's not that it's not still heading the same way or anything, it's just that it's started to be drawn off course. And the Hood tries, of course, to get in touch with Captain Black, but he's appears to be minding his own business somewhere.
Have we reached the part in the commentary where you explain what plot elements your brother suggested to you?
I guess it was more so the hostage kidnapping, the press conference scene, the
prologue?
Yes, yeah, he wrote that.
Was there anything else he did besides voice work?
Well, he served as my creative consultant. He was the one who suggested the subtle colour tints in the flashbacks. I know the original series had none of them, but he thought that
it would be a good way to
yeah,
make it clear to the viewers.
yeah, the mood, the things.
I would have settled for a white fading edge, like a circle around it, but given the screen format, maybe that wasn't as easy to pull off.
Yeah, well, I guess.
You said earlier that there were some special effects that CinemaScope weren't that.
Technoscope. Well, the special effects provided by Derek Meddings was something that Panavision, which was the common lenses at that time, could not handle. And so they used Technoscope, which have more spherical lenses, to film.
Oh. Was it something to do with the explosions?
Possibly.
Get the Hood!
More of the romance there.
Right, come on everyone. Let's go and rescue those hostages.
Everybody, this way.
Ooh.
For them.
Good grief, the angel faces look a bit off as well.
Yeah, well, the puppets, the difference between the Thunderbirds puppets and the Captain Scarlet puppets...
I know. The Thunderbirds puppets are more stylized, but semi-realistic, a step up from Stingray. But the Captain Scarlet puppets are more human, realistic in scale.
Yeah, and that was a challenge. I had to try and make sure that the hoods of the characters were the same size as each other.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It would look a bit jarring otherwise, but I think I would have taken it.
Yeah, and the bodies were made out of PowerPoint shapes as well.
Yes.
With the main characters, there were luckily some full frontal images on Google.
I think if I were to ever produce something like this,
You'd try and do something else, yeah.
Well, let's just say I'd approach creating the bodies a little differently.
Maybe.
I'm finished with you. Now don't move a muscle. One move and one of you will die.
Parker to the rescue!
So this is what has been happening.
So, the Hood kidnapped us in order to frame...
All the hostages are free now. Hey, is that a Herbie fan I see?
Yes. Because, yeah, I tried to do a mishmash of 60s, but also in the style of,
keeping the style of the time.
Yeah,
That's right. We've just got to get our story straight. Everyone!
Parker, any more information about Scott?
No, he's not been in contact with me since I left even her ladyship to find the Hood.
I'd better get in contact with him.
Ah, now this is probably one of my more notable and better scenes.
yeah. I think it works really well.
I went full-on Jeremy Wilkin here. But when I recorded this, I pictured that a sort of distorted...
there could have been some...
Yeah, like button pressing and blah blah blah.
Well, I hope he's not in trouble. In the meantime, I think we should get out of here while we...
And here's another nitpick I have.
Yeah, you wanted them to run off immediately, but they didn't.
Well, I was expecting the Hood to intercept them a little quicker than that.
Yeah, but he's still doing what he's going to do. Oh, Captain Black is back.
Ah, yes.
Where have you been?
I'm inclined to agree with you, Hood, on this. Where has he been? I don't know.
Deal with this, guys. It's time for me to finish what I started.
This is John Tracy calling all the boys. This is John Tracy calling all the boys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I fell on John as well, now I come to think of it. John was voiced by two actors as well, Ray Barrett, who also played the Hood, and Keith Alexander, who I swear to God he sounds far too British to be John, so I tried to go with the more Ray Barrett voice.
Quite right. Kirano. The script didn't require anything specific about how he entered in. I thought I'd have him panting. Oh dear, scripts will
well,
me.
rightfully, that was good. I liked your panting. I guess I probably did expect him to be more horrified, but more horrified and teary and whatever. But what you did was fine. We'll give it a pass. It's probably more understandable for the family members. Like, I don't even know if they're normally the kind of people who would shed tears, but
they would.
If you've lost a member of the family,
I know.
Particularly Grandma.
It's difficult to animate tears behind glasses, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one of my biggest problems.
Well, you learn you learn from your past experiences.
Yeah. This is what we think might be the turning point. The Hood's gonna kill them.
International rescue. Gathered for the end.
Gathered for the end, indeed. Trying to get your hands on our secrets was bad enough, but killing our father is cold-blooded murder. That's the worst thing you could ever do to us.
Well, so is the fact that you tried to kill me.
Don't keep saying that. Well, he's right. My brother's right. Killing our father was the worst thing you could do. You had this plan set up for quite some time, didn't you? I see now that it was you who drove that Fireflash airliner, of course.
Yeah, the Hood did it. He somehow just managed to find the Jurassic Skyline Tower in Weymouth of all places, and he drew the plane, of course.
Yeah.
Deserves to happen. He might have used a homing device like he did in Edge, in fact.
Good grief.
Great heavens.
Yeah, I guess it kind of was for comedy. My brother took to it.
This is meant to be a serious moment.
I probably could have cut it. I could have cut it down a little bit, but
you should have done it where they all said it almost in unison, but obviously not at the same time. You know, like, oh, come on, blind! Oh, good grief!
Stone the crows.
Yeah, like that.
Stay to me. I mean, even you, Tintin. My niece.
So, well, obviously
a plot point that wasn't explored properly.
Yeah, well, Tintin did have a hint. She thought she knew the Hood in some way.
During the Nestor expedition.
You did this?
Yes, I did. You always stop me becoming rich. Anyway, it's all over now. You will soon meet your deaths. Just like you tried to do to me too many times already. The world will remember you as criminals. Victims of future disasters will die. Let the demise of international rescue commence. Captain Black, kill them! Well, Captain Black, I'm waiting. Kill them! Are you deaf? I said, kill them!
Your orders. Others are irrelevant.
Relevant? What do you mean?
We may know about each other, but it's not our job to kill your arch enemies. Nor is it your job to kill ours.
What the? You betrayed me? Where have you been? Why were you late?
Where I or any of the Mysterons were.
So this is the point where the Mysterons have now betrayed the Hood.
Have those incredible powers to hypnotize people and things like that. You are still a human being. And human beings are our enemy. And yes, we Mysterons were the ones that drove your plane off course.
I find it... Oh, this is... No, that... Wait, who punched him?
That was Captain Black.
I was looking away.
And now he's gonna kill him.
Oh, so...
Whatever you do,
No, you failed to fulfill your end of the bargain, Hood. Your life is not worth taking.
You're suggesting a different line, I understand. Anyway,
I'm just improvising here.
So, as Captain Black holds them at point, they escape. That's Andrew the hostage with the pocket knife.
That's my cue.
Yeah.
This is where he punches the Hood? No, he punches Captain Black.
No, wait. Might have been a misspelling in the script, I don't know.
Oh, he does punch the Hood.
Yeah.
You know, my scene... When I
yeah, I originally wrote it like he was going to use a gun to get them free. But...
I thought you were going to use chains, not ropes, but I suppose you did it for the sake of making it was easier to do.
Yeah, time was running out on this project. I remember spending almost all of the summer holidays to finish the film.
You know, I had a unique line in my head that Andrew said. I'm glad those sharpshooting lessons came in handy.
Yeah, possibly if he used a gun. Had I got my hands on an official replica of the ray gun, I could have done a hand movement. Yeah, the hand movements were reduced in this film as time went on.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, this proves Captain Scarlet's indestructibility, and Alan...
is wounded.
Yeah.
But he'll live.
Even more pain!
God, these guns change hands more times than the banknotes.
Maybe. This was another difficult shot, slow-mo. It's not easy to do slow-mo in, in this kind of style of animation. Like, I know Armin had trouble doing that in Chicken Run, but, yeah, this. I mean, I obviously tried to have it, slow-mo, but, I mean, I don't know. Does it... You convinced he's going slowly, or is it... Anyway, this is what happens.
Ooh.
He's so weak and disfigured that his telekinetic powers are now all faulty.
Not just faulty, they're going practically out of control.
Yeah.
Now here's an important note. When I read the original script and you showed me the preliminary edit of this scene.
Yeah, that's right, I did. He was going to say something like, curse those stupid...
May I? Oh, curse those foolish hostages! Curse that stupid Captain Black and his stupid Mysterons! Curse International Rescue! Curse my half-brother who works for them! And curse their stupid deceased father!
Yeah, that was the original line I wrote down, but you said that it didn't sound quite right because...
It felt...
it seemed like International Rescue was the one who shot the Hood, where really it was Captain Black.
Which is why I redid that dialogue, and to make it sound more like that Hood was focusing his anger on the Mysterons most of all as he died.
Yeah, and I managed to get Thomas Pottock, who had been visiting my house during that summer, to do that one line.
Well, it certainly was a great improvement.
On the writing, yeah, on the writing.
Cool. Those must have been really strong powers.
Indeed they were. Indeed they were. Well, I guess that's the last we'll see of the Hood.
My half-uncle. Out in it.
So, the Hood is dead. Captain Black more likely to have escaped. and now International Rescue are in this state, and Alan is still injured.
Distant future.
So what's the next step? Well, there are several things we should do in this situation. You, Alan, and Captain Scarlet, I think, need medical attention. It's okay, Scott. I'll take Alan and Captain Scarlet to the sick bay on Cloud Base. Dr. Thorne is an excellent medical doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Thorne was the medical doctor on Cloud Base who had the apparent ability to cure any injuries on any member of Spectrum or whoever within a short amount of time.
Basically, he was a great doctor for his time.
Yeah, just like Lou Grade, who was Jerry Anderson's employer, was a good money-making thing. When they had to cut down the budget of Supercar, I believe, his methods to cut down the budget compared to normal, for anyone who knows about accountancy, it would take a long time to cut down budgets, whereas Lou was able to do that in about 10 minutes, or at least I think that's what Jerry Anderson said in an interview at one point.
We need more people like Lou Grade.
Yeah, although it was he, keep in mind it was he who, on probably Sylvia's behalf to extend the length of the Thunderbirds episodes. They were going to be half hours, but they extended them to 50 minutes. And this shows why some of them you might think, oh, for God's sake, this could be a half hour. Why do we need to dwell on, I don't know, those people with their inferior attempts to get the people in the Sidewinder out? Why do we need to dwell on the cloud from the mighty atom? Why do we need to dwell on... Well, you get the idea.
Did Jerry really think that some of those plots went on for too long?
Well, probably not Jerry, but certainly
someone.
The viewers of today.
No, I don't know. I like it.
Yeah,
viewers of today have got to remember. Viewers of today have got to realise that.
Yeah, at that time, the pacing was pretty common. You get that in the old Who episodes as well.
You know, I was borderline on. I was born in the 90s, borderline on that form on those formats.
Yeah, well, this is back when Thunderbird still had a cult following. Anyway,
it still does. Just it's not as clear.
Yeah, not as clear as the new series. Anyway, so International Rescue have been cleared by this point. The policeman, played by Adam Knight's friend Lewis Ford, has said it's all okay now, and they're now taking the hostages back one by one. Mark, then Zachary, then Andrew, then Christopher, then Olivia, then Patrick, who, in case I didn't say so before, he was played by Adam Knight.
I was not particularly fond of this of repeating similar dialogue over and over. If you get the drift, it's.
What, you thought it was too similar?
Well, it's. I know it was necessary, but it felt a bit dragged on.
Well, maybe. I think had I've shown Thunderbird 2 constantly landing all the time, that would have taken
I
too
meant
long.
the dialogue.
Well, probably that as well, but yeah, you're right.
I could have, I'm not good with goodbyes, but I reckon there could have been a bit more variety, you know, like Virgil having the more dialogue between Scott and Virgil.
Yeah, well, Scott was the main boy, so I don't blame him for
I know.
taking the superiority. So,
these shots of Creighton Ward Mansion. Where did this one come from? Oh, wait a minute, it's edited.
This was a slowed down shot from Day of Disaster, nearing towards the end. No news report. I could have done with a news report, but never mind.
Ah, well. What program did you use to make their outfits again?
I used PowerPoint for the design and for setting up the scenes like this one. Yeah, because PowerPoint can make different shapes for different things, depending on what you want to do.
Can it do shading effects as well?
I'll
take that as a no.
Well, probably not PowerPoint animation. Probably more likely the more advanced Adobe programs, but
Yeah.
PowerPoint, no, not really.
Yeah, maybe for a future project you could I've used MS Paint and I've practiced a bit when it comes to shading, and I think I might be able to, well, let's just say, make the colours less sticking outy vibrant.
yeah, I know. It does seem half cartoony, half live action.
Hey, the Spectrum crew, it looks alright.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look too bad in the costumes.
Hey, at least bright, bold colours for them.
Yeah.
It's the normal outfits that are the right.
Yeah.
Parker looks alright.
Yeah, in his butler outfit, because he's that kind of character.
Oh, he's got extra thick eyebrows as well.
Yeah. Modelled over Ben Wallace apart from the nose. The nose was, obviously his nose and his lips were exaggerated to add more character to him.
Hey, some people could look like that. After all, DNA and genes nature works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Right, goodbye everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Penelope in a plain green top.
Just like the plain pink from earlier.
Oh yes. Who was in charge of wardrobe for the 2004 film?
I don't remember. I know that Elizabeth Coleman did the original series wardrobe. You can find it in the end credits.
Well, I've nothing against Penelope wearing pink. But
no,
nothing but pink? What happened to variety?
I don't know.
Lady Penelope and I are going to get married.
What?
I knew something suspicious was going on between you two.
We didn't. You never told us you had feelings for Lady Penelope. Did you, Scott?
This is why I'm telling you now. Yesterday, Penelope did me the honor.
So this is the point where... rings on the wrong finger.
Engagement.
Rings on the wrong finger. But yeah, Scott comes out about this romance. Some people have asked me about the whole thing, like, I thought Lady Penelope was the same age as Jeff, they said. But obviously, if you look up sources, like, I think it even says so on the Carlton UK DVD release that Scott and Penelope are around the same age, so yeah, I know it does sound a little far-fetched for Scott and Penelope to actually get together, but...
I always thought Penelope was more in her early 30s myself.
She was 26 when the show began. The film is set in 2069, so obviously she's 30, and so is Scott. So... yeah.
Well, she looked older for her age. Simple as that. She certainly acted it.
Yeah, she was sculpted over Sylvia herself, actually.
Yeah, hang on. Sylvia was in her 30s then, wasn't she? Or am I mistaken?
Almost 40s, 2 years older than Jerry, I believe.
Oh.
So that's it for them coming about the romance and Alan asking Tintin to kind of marry on the spot. And here's the setting up of the the showing of what they're going to do afterwards, how their new base is going to work,
and the announcement of a revamped spy plane.
Yeah, Thunderbirds 6. Yeah, compared to the inferior Tiger Moth. Does the ending feel like it drags to you? As long as Return of the King? Return of the King, obviously, while it had heartwarming endings, the way they edited it feel like, all of a sudden Frodo and is on that cliff, blackout, and then, another ending comes up, and then...
Small-scale Thunderbird 5.
Yeah, the new Thunderbird 5. But, yeah, I mean, do you think the ending is dwelled out? I mean, give it some credit, like in the same way they were trying to wrap up a trilogy with Lord of the Rings, we're trying to wrap up everything in the Thunderbirds universe.
There was so much more that could have been covered, but there just wasn't time.
You're talking about Lord of the Rings, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh, well, we're going on subject.
Well, after all, they were long books, weren't they? I've never read them, but I have seen the movies, the extended editions.
Yeah.
Don't spoil The Hobbit for me.
No.
Thunderbird 6 will be very similar to the original Tiger, but far more advanced than you could possibly ever imagine.
How so?
Thunderbird 6 will be a spy plane.
A spy plane? But Scott, we're not spies, we're rescuers. What's the point of needing one?
Well, Gordon, in an age of ever-increasing violence and chaos, we need to know more about the situations we're putting ourselves into. I think I'll leave Brains to talk about the design.
This is my bit where I explain
how Thunderbird 6 is built. Thomas Brind suggested the spy plane element, actually. the Aurora spy plane in real life is so big, probably as big as Thunderbird 2. I remember seeing one of them in a museum back in 2013, and I thought, well...
Yeah, one thing bugged me about Thunderbird 2's scale compared to Fireflash and the elevator cars.
Yeah, it's not...
There's a slight... It's something that was possibly overlooked during filming of Trapped in the Sky and Operation Crash Dive. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, because they were in different scales. Well, technical difficulties.
I'd like to think that in Operation Crash Dive, Thunderbird 2 is more or less the same size as Fireflash, just further away. It's the only explanation I can think of.
Where it seemed so small. Yeah.
Exactly. Parker was just...
Yeah, Parker, I think, was going to be the guest, but I then thought, well, he's just not a person. He can just be laid back about the whole thing.
You were originally going to have your old man be as the vicar.
You mean my dad? Well, I wouldn't say he's an old man. He's getting there, but I wouldn't say...
Hey, I'm just using it because it was a phrase. I'm not calling him old, really.
Yeah, I hate that cliche. Anyway, my father was going to be the vicar, and we did record the lines... But, just as you finished yours, you decided to...
I decided to have a go. But I pictured him with glasses, I didn't...
Well, you said you based his voice on the Reverend Tim's. I never knew that at all.
Well, partially, not entirely. Now here's an important bit. When Jeff Tracy walks into the room with an incredibly long beard, I should have added an extra... If I'd known that was going to be included, I would have included a line from the vicar stating... Is that you, God?
Jeff has been gone. It's a shocking return. Is that you, God?
It was just how Jeff looked.
Yeah, well, even though there's the possibility it might have been a restaurant clone, which he's not, I thought, well, I mean, if he's going to travel all this way for several months, no shaver, no whatever, then obviously that's what he's got to look like. I think I had a beard even longer when I did that little bit. So, yeah, obviously I didn't intend Jeff to be the physical embodiment of God, but obviously that was something you brought up, so yeah, Is That You, God would have been a laugh.
It certainly would have been.
So, yeah, Jeff Tracy comes back saying that with no transport whatsoever, it took him a long time to get...
He must have hitchhiked, maybe.
Maybe. In 6 months, I don't know. But then he comes back saying that he's proud of everything the boys have done independently.
Or maybe that's why he took so long. He stopped to find a newspaper.
I don't... Maybe. But that's one of the themes of the film, I believe. It's like, even though Jeff clearly didn't die, if a person does this, try to move on without the person you were attached to, because Jeff was clearly the person in charge, and for the boys to try and carry on in his shadow with are we doing the right thing, are we not, that's a...
Yeah, like in Atlantic Inferno, that's a good example.
Yes, and Jeff would naturally be surprised that they've done everything to sort out their organisation, so yeah, try and do stuff...
What he would.
That's probably one of the main themes of the film.
Oh, that was something I was going to bring up, about how Jeff survived the prison's explosion.
Yeah, because the thing was, Captain Black, he was infected, taken over by the Mysterons.
Possessed.
Possessed by the Mysterons. But as shown in the episode Manhunt, he is not completely devoid of...
his humanity.
Yeah, of his humanity. And that was supposed to be the explanation as to why he saved Jeff from the prison. Even though Jeff is not part of the Spectrum organisation, it's something that Captain Black probably in his mind still cares about. Yeah. And so he rescues him.
And from how Jeff implies it, it's assumed Captain Black did it just to spite the Hood.
Yeah, you're probably right.
John, Kirano, the rings.
Of course, Your Reverence.
Oh,
here you are, Scott. Thanks, John. Gee, thanks, Kirano.
Go ahead, Scott. One at a time.
Those were real hand movements that I did the last one.
Yeah, but that goes without saying. You can easily tell that from a mile off nowadays.
Maybe.
Myself. All that I have, and all that I am.
With this ring, I give you myself, all that I have, and all that I am.
With this ring, I give you my son. All that I have, and all that I am.
And now you've made these promises before God and before those gathered here.
So, this is the turning point of Alan and Tintin and Scott and Penelope's lives. They'll be married together, which I don't know if they can balance it out with the duties, but that's what they're going to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now proudly present Sir Scott Tracy and Lady...
Yeah, Sir Scott, I think that was something I discussed with Mum. She said that if a person who's not in the family of lords or the House of Lords marries someone who clearly is, then I think Sir is the title, I believe, so that's what I did.
Marrying into title.
I believe so.
I don't know.
So they're interrupted by that call from the new Thunderbird 5.
Okay, mate. We'll be on our way. Well, there's a distress call requiring immediate action, Scott, and we'll need all Thunderbirds. Okay, John, let's get to it. Sorry, Your Reverence. Duty calls.
Of course it does. And quite right.
I remember you telling me how clever that conclusion was, and... yeah.
Oh yeah. It parallels the 2004 film, but done right.
I suppose so.
And at least I got the last word.
So, here are the boys working in their new ways. Goodness knows what rescues they're going to do in the future, but hopefully they're going to pull them off just as much as they managed to do so in the past and in many years to come. And maybe the children of whoever, maybe Scott or Penelope or Alan or Tintin, they can carry on the tradition when they get old.
Well, do you intend to make a follow-up, or is this it for you?
I think, without a doubt, this is the end of the line of the Thunderbirds franchise, for me personally.
For you, it's an end. For fans that watch this, it's a new beginning.
Well, I suppose it is in some ways. But yeah, this film I have to say that I'm very pleased with, and I've managed to accomplish many things that I've improved on since Bodger and Badger the movie. I am glad that I got my variety of voice actors. I thank them all for doing their parts. And
you're welcome.
And obviously it was a great honour to be working on a franchise that is obviously dated because it was made in the 60s, but has gained a cult following and is so popular. And it's impressive but rather silly technique, what with the puppet shows and things.
Some may see it silly, but to me, I see it as a work of art.
Yeah, I'd say it's a work of art that is silly but impressive at the same time. Like, Jerry tried his best with all the equipment he had, because obviously he wanted to do live action films, and
he hated puppets and he was stuck with them.
Yeah,
he was good at it.
Yeah, he got typecast and trapped in a lot of the puppet shows and things. And hadn't he have been allergic to plaster, then obviously his shows were never going to be. So, yeah, like I said, one thing I probably should bring up, obviously this is the end of the Thunderbirds franchise, not the end of me for making projects in general. There are many more. If you look on my Brind Who YouTube channel, you'll see a Doctor Who series that I'm working on, live action, where I play the Doctor.
And he and I are actually working on another script for... It's a story that I came up with as what you'd call a conclusion for Stingray. Keep an ear open for more news.
Yeah, keep an ear open for more news. So, yeah. Yeah.
This movie is also not only dedicated to Jerry Sylvia Anderson
and Francis Matthews, the guy who played the original Captain Scarlet, but also
dedicated to my dear mother, who died during production.
Yeah, I have to say I was torn to pieces when you sent me that email back when I was making the film.
It was late 2016. She died last day of September. It's the worst day of my life so far.
30th September, that was the date of the first episode of Thunderbirds, 30th of September 1965. That's when it pretty much all began. Still, obviously, we've done everything in our power to make this a film to remember. And I'm proud of what I've managed to accomplish. This is certainly better than Bodger and Badger the movie.
And you can only get better from here.
So, yeah, we're working on a closure to Stingray, so keep your ears open for that. So, that's about it. My name is George Brind, signing off.
And I go by the alias of Jerry De La Rue.
Yeah, and that's him signing off too. See you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.